Have you ever wondered why, no matter how charming, attractive, or even wealthy a man is, the majority of women don't truly feel aroused by him at first sight? Why is it that 85% of women don't feel aroused until something very specific happens? And more importantly, what is that something? Before I answer that, pause for a second and think, if you had the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius himself, the Roman emperor who ruled one of the greatest empires in history while practicing Stoicism every single day, what would he say about attraction, desire, and the mysterious psychology of women? Today I'll share with you not just the psychology, but the Stoic perspective on why women respond the way they do, and how understanding this can completely transform your love life. So, before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and most importantly, watch until the very end. Because what you're about to discover will not just improve your dating life, it will change the way you understand connection, intimacy, and yourself. Setting the context. Let me take you back almost 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius, sitting in his dimly lit study, a candle flickering beside him, writes in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Now, pause. Apply that same wisdom to relationships. Women, unlike what movies and cheap magazines tell us, are not instantly aroused by appearance alone. Yes, beauty attracts. Yes, style matters. But that's only the surface. 85% of women don't feel deep arousal until one thing happens. They feel safe enough to surrender to the experience of desire. Not safe in a boring way. Safe in the sense that their emotions, their inner world, their femininity is respected and not threatened. And here's where Marcus Aurelius's wisdom pierces through the noise. He understood that strength without control is chaos, but strength with control, with calmness, with presence, that is what makes others trust you. This is the key. Story 1. The Merchant and His Impatience. Let me tell you a short story. There was once a wealthy Roman merchant admired by many for his riches. Every time he met women, he tried to impress them with gold, gifts, and grand dinners. Yet time and time again, the women would smile politely but never truly open up to him. He felt frustrated. Why do they not desire me? I can provide everything. One evening he confessed his disappointment to a Stoic teacher. The teacher replied, "You give them treasures, but you do not give them presents. You shower them with gold, but you fail to make them feel safe in your strength. Women do not bloom when forced. They bloom when the season feels right." The merchant realized it wasn't about the display of power, but the embodiment of calm, controlled power. Lesson 1. The Stoic Secret of Safety. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This kind of integrity creates safety. Most women are not aroused by shallow charm or empty promises. They are aroused when they sense that your words and actions are aligned, that you are a man of integrity, a man of calmness, a man who is unshaken by the storms of life. Why? Because in the feminine heart, true desire arises only when trust exists. That's why 85% of women cannot feel aroused until they feel secure enough to express their vulnerability without fear of judgment or betrayal. Story 2. The Soldier's Return. Picture this. A Roman soldier returns home after years of battle. He is strong, scarred, hardened by war. His wife, who hasn't seen him for years, feels both love and distance. At first, she does not feel aroused by his presence. His energy is sharp, tense, almost threatening. But later that night, when he finally allows himself to soften, when he tells her about his fears, his struggles, and when he holds her not as a soldier, but as a man, suddenly the walls melt. She feels safe. She feels connected. And desire, long suppressed, bursts alive. The Stoic truth, vulnerability, when balanced with strength, creates the deepest form of arousal. Lesson 2. The Power of Presence. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to confine yourself to the present. Women sense when a man is distracted, when his mind is wandering, when he is chasing validation rather than connecting. But when you are fully present, when you look into her eyes and actually see her, not just her body, but her soul, that is when her arousal begins to rise. Because presence tells her, right now, you are the most important person in my world. And here's the paradox. Presence doesn't just arouse women. It transforms men too. It makes us calmer, stronger, more stoic. Story 3. The Emperor's Test. Legend says that Marcus Aurelius once tested his own patience with his wife, Faustina. He would listen to her frustrations without interrupting, even when she scolded him for neglecting family time. Instead of defending himself with power or authority, Marcus responded with calmness. "I hear you, and I am grateful you speak truth to me." This humility, this emotional self-control, created safety, intimacy, and eventually deep desire. Because women are not aroused by dominance alone, but by dominance fused with self-mastery. Lesson 3. Self-control creates desire. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You must become an unshakable fortress." Think about that. A fortress does not chase. A fortress does not beg. A fortress simply stands strong, offering safety to those inside. Most men lose desire because they chase arousal directly. They try too hard to impress. But the Stoic man understands when you embody calm confidence, when you hold yourself with self-control, women naturally feel safe to express their desire. That's when arousal awakens. Deeper analysis. Why 85% of women need this. Now let's break this down psychologically. For women, arousal is not just physical. It's emotional and psychological. They need to feel their environment is safe. They need to feel you are trustworthy. They need to feel you value them for more than just the physical. This is why most women don't feel aroused instantly. Instead, they need to sense your presence, your calmness, and your controlled masculine energy. And here's the twist. Once they do, their arousal is not only stronger, but it lasts longer. This is why Marcus Aurelius's wisdom applies perfectly. Attraction is not about chasing. It's about embodying a state of calm, controlled strength. Story 4. The modern parallel. Fast forward to today. Imagine a man on a date. He brags about his car, his house, his job. The woman smiles politely, but deep down she feels nothing. Later that week, she meets another man less wealthy, less flashy but calm, grounded, fully present. He doesn't talk over her. He listens. He looks at her with steady eyes. He asks questions, not to impress but to understand. By the end of the evening, she feels butterflies. Not because of what he has, but because of who he is. That's when arousal awakens, and that is the difference. Lesson 4. Stoic stillness, feminine trust. The ancient Stoics taught, "Be like the rock against which the waves crash." Yet it stands unmoved. Women, consciously or unconsciously, test men with their waves, their emotions, their moods, their doubts. The man who panics, argues, or loses control destroys attraction. The man who stays calm, steady, yet compassionate awakens trust and arousal. Because women are drawn to men who can hold the storm without collapsing. Story 5. The Garden and the Tree. Think of a woman like a garden. For the flowers to bloom, the environment must feel safe, warm, nurturing. If there's constant fear, the flowers wither. The man is the tree, rooted, grounded, providing shade, stability, and presence. When the tree stands tall, the garden flourishes. This is why arousal is less about immediate lust and more about deep trust. Lesson 5. Why Stoic men win in love. Marcus Aurelius didn't chase pleasure. He didn't indulge endlessly in lust. He practiced moderation, self-control, and integrity. Ironically, this is what made him magnetic, because women sense when a man is enslaved by his desires. They sense weakness in uncontrolled lust. But they are drawn to the man who has desire, yet is not ruled by it. That's the paradox. The man who doesn't chase arousal often awakens it the most. Conclusion and final message. So let's return to the original question. Why do 85% of women not feel aroused until something specific happens? Because that something is safety fused with presence. It's trust combined with strength. It's vulnerability balanced with self-control. Women don't bloom instantly. They bloom when they feel the man before them is a fortress, a protector, a calm presence. Not because he forces it, but because he embodies it. And this, my friend, is the Stoic secret. Marcus Aurelius taught us that the greatest power is power over oneself. And when you master yourself, you unlock not only your own strength, but also the deepest arousal and desire in the feminine heart. So remember, it's not about money, looks, or flashy gestures. It's about embodying calmness, integrity, and presence. That's when women truly feel safe to open, to trust, to desire. And that's when 85% becomes 100%. Outro. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,